Hey guys, so in today's video, I just wanted to break down this ICT Judas Swing trade that I took this morning. And as you can see, I did send it in my Discord channel to say that I'm getting into this trade. And then I also sent over my analysis as to why I was getting in this trade. So let's break it down just so you guys can have a better understanding of exactly what it was that I was looking at and why, in fact, I did take this trade. So first things first, I'm sure by now everyone has access to this framework that I will be leaving in the description down below. So this just breaks down exactly what this strategy is, how it works, and what to look for. So the number one thing that we do when we come onto the charts is we look for our directional bias. Right, so this morning when I woke up, I saw this. On the 1 hour time frame, we had bullish structure. So we had a higher high, then a higher low, and then a higher high. After this, the anticipation would be that we would get a higher low before a higher high. However, we did not get that. What we got is we got a break of this higher low right here, indicating that our price is bearish. So we've had our lower high and our lower low right here. So the trading range that we're actually trading in between is this lower high right here and this lower low right here, right? So anything in between here is complex structure. However, we don't disregard complex structure. We also want to know what complex structure is also doing in comparison to the overall higher time frame. So as we can see on the 15-minute, when we drop down, we were bullish, right? So we've got higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs. So as we can see, when we created this higher high into this 1 hour fair value gap right here, I was anticipating sells even though the 15-minute is bullish, right? So if we look at the Discord, I said to everyone that the reason why I'm trying to short the market is because we are inside the 1 hour fair value gap. So the overall market bias is bearish, so the short should play out even though the 15-minute is bullish. So my anticipation for the London session was that at the end of the Asian session, we would actually get a sweep of the Asia highs, and then we could take that to take price lower, giving us a higher low on the 15-minute before giving us a higher high, right? So that is what my anticipation was, and that was the reason why I was actually looking for sells on the higher time frame, because we're inside of this bearish leg, right? So what do we always do? We then drop down to the 1 minute, and as we can see, we check our time. So the Judas swing happens at the end of the Asian session between the time of 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. UK time. So we mark out the Asia session highs and lows because that is our liquidity. So the Asia session high and low is marked out between midnight and 7 a.m. UK time. And once we mark that out, we simply just wait for a sweep of either the high or the low before we move on to the next step. So as you can see right here, I've marked out my Asia high and my Asia low. And then I was waiting for a sweep of either side. And as I just mentioned, due to the higher time frame bias, I wanted to see a sweep of the highs because then that would help me take price lower, right? So once I've marked this out, I've now seen this sweep of the Asia highs just as I anticipated. So now that I've seen the sweep, I'm now waiting for a market structure shift because again, if we go back to the framework, our next step is that once we get a sweep of either the high or the low, we drop down to the 1 minute time frame and then we wait for a market structure shift, right? So let's take a look at this together so we can understand what I was also looking at. So we've got a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then a failure to create a higher low, breaking this, giving us a lower low. Now we're anticipating a lower high before a continuation lower. So once we've got the break of structure right there, our next step is to identify our fair value gap. Once we've got a fair value gap, that will be our entry point, and then our stops will always go above the most recent high, and our target will always be the opposing liquidity. So once we come here and we've seen that we've had a sweep right here, we now figure out where our fair value gap is. And as we can see right here, we had this crazy fair value gap right there. Let me make it a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Here we go. So this was the fair value gap that I was looking at. And I put my entry at the beginning, and I also sent this in the Discord, and I said that we will be taking an entry right here, right there. And that was at the beginning of the fair value gap with stops just above the most recent high. And then we were targeting the opposing liquidity, which was the lows of the Asian session. So as we can see, we got tapped in with price right there. And after this, price did move around, came all the way down here before reversing on us. However, I was watching all of this price action. And as I was watching it, I did see, and I did post this in the Discord as well. So I saw that we had this fair value gap on the 15-minute right here. Now, as I said earlier, price is bullish on the 15-minute, right? So as you can see, we've got higher high, higher low, higher high. So now there was the potential of us creating a higher low here before giving us a higher high right there. So when I saw this and when I saw this zone, I did call this out in the Discord, and I said that right here, once we break that low, go break even. And I said this because, of course, there was that 15-minute fair value gap down there, right? So there's a chance price may reverse as we've tapped a 15-minute fair value gap. So because I saw this, I wasn't all too much confident in the trade. So then this is where I told everyone to actually close the price at 1R. So price was up 1R, and I said, let's close it. Let's enjoy the profits instead of waiting for a break even, or for some people, potentially a stop loss as well. So as we can see, price tapped in and it did reverse, and it did actually go to hit the stop loss. But for us in the Discord, I told everyone to get out somewhere around here with 1R on the trade. So overall for the day, as we can see right here, I closed out the trade with $1,325 in profit, which is 1% for me. So we closed this trade out because, again, on the lower time frame, on the 15-minute, we tapped into this fair value gap. And because the 15-minute was bullish, I didn't want to risk giving any profits back to the market, even though on a higher time frame we are bearish. After that, we did see a push to the downside. However, I didn't want to take any trades because this wick had swept above this fair value gap. So for me, that actually invalidates the fair value gap because price has now pushed past it. So for me, I wasn't interested. I was happy with the 1R profits that we had taken right there. So for me, all in all, it was a good day. We closed 1R in profit, which means we are 1% up for the week. The trade was managed beautifully right here, understanding the higher time frame and the lower time frame structure, so that way we don't actually end up giving any profits back to the market. We keep them for ourselves, right? So I hope this was a good insight into why I took this trade today and how you can actually take these kinds of trades yourself. It all comes down to understanding, first of all, market structure as a whole, because you need to know where your key levels are. Understanding lower time frame structure, so 1 hour we were bearish, but on a 15 we were bullish. So understanding that price can potentially create a higher leg, even though overall we are bearish. And then also understanding how market structure shift and fair value gaps work, because all in all that makes for an amazing trade when you put everything together. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and comment. And also, if you haven't, please do subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the next one.